A U.S. Medical Board and Organization Guide by Specialty at Healthcare Hiring State Federal Boards Agencies. Chapter 1. U.S. State and Federal Medical Boards and Agencies at healthcarehiring.com/state-federal-boards-agencies. State Health Department websites. adph.org, Alabama Department of Public Health. health.hss.state.ak.us, Alaska Health and Social Services. azdhs.gov, Arizona Department of Health Services. healthyarkansas.com, Arkansas Department of Health. dhs.ca.gov, California Department of Health Services. cdpe.state.co.us/index.html, Colorado Department of Public Health. ct.gov/dph/site/default.asp, Connecticut Department of Public Health. dhss.delaware.gov/dhss/dph/index.html, Delaware Division of Public Health. doh.dc.gov/do/site/default.asp, District of Columbia Department of Health. doh.state.fl.us, Florida Department of Health. state.hi.us/health, Hawaii Department of Health. healthandwelfare.idaho.gov/default.aspx, Idaho Department of Health. idph.state.il.us, Illinois Department of Public Health. state.in.us/isdh, Indiana Department of Health. idph.state.ia.us, Iowa Department of Public Health. kdhex.gov, Kansas Department of Health and Environment. chfs.ky.gov, Kentucky Cabinet for Health and Family Services. dhh.state.laus, Louisiana Department of Health. maine.gov/dhhs/bo/index.htm, Maine CDC. dhmh.state.md.us, Maryland Department of Health. mass.gov/dph/dphome.htm, Massachusetts Department of Public Health. michigan.gov/mdch, Michigan Department of Community Health. healthfinder.gov/org/hr2214.htm, Minnesota Department of Health. msdh.state.ms.us, Mississippi Department of Health. dhss.mo.gov, Missouri Department of Health. dphhs.mt.gov, Montana Department of Public Health. hhs.state.ne.us, Nebraska Department of Health. health2k.state.nv.us, Nevada State Health Division. state.nj.us/health, New Jersey Department of Health. health.state.nm.us, New Mexico Department of Health. health.state.ny.us, New York State Department of Health. dhr.state.nc.us/dhr, North Carolina Department of Health. health.state.nd.us, North Dakota Department of Health. odh.state.oh.us, Ohio Department of Health. health.state.ok.us, Oklahoma Department of Health. oregon.gov/dhs/ph/index.shtml, Oregon Department of Human Services, Public Health. dsf.health.state.pa.us/health/site/default.asp, Pennsylvania Department of Health. health.state.ri.us, Rhode Island Department of Health. scdhec.net/hs, South Carolina Department of Health. doh.sd.gov, South Dakota Department of Health. state.tn.us/health, Tennessee Department of Health. dshs.state.tx.us, Texas Department of Health. hlunix.hl.state.ut.us, Utah Department of Health. healthyvermonters.info, Vermont Department of Health. vdh.state.va.us, Virginia Department of Health. doh.wa.gov, Washington State Department of Health. wvdhhr.org, West Virginia Department of Health. dhfs.state.wi.us, Wisconsin Department of Health. wdhfs.state.wy.us/wdh/index.htm, Wyoming Department of Health. State Medical Board websites. albme.org, Alabama State Board of Medical Examiners. dced.state.ak.us/occ/pmed.htm, Alaska Division of Occupational Licensing. bomex.org, Arizona Medical Board. azosteoboard.org, Arizona Board of Osteopathic Examiners in Medicine and Surgery. armedicalboard.org/index.asp, Arkansas State Medical Board. medbd.ca.gov, Medical Board of California. dora.state.co.us/medical, Colorado Board of Medical Examiners. dph.state.ct.us/md_profile/hlthprof.htm, Connecticut State DPH, Physician Profile. Professional licensing.state.de.us/board/medical practice/index.shtml, Delaware Board of Medical Practice. dchealth.dc.gov/prof_license/services/boards_main_action.asp?strap PID = 9, District of Columbia Board of Medicine. doh.state.fl.us/mqs/index.html, Florida Board of Medicine. medicalboard.state.ga.us/consumers.html, Georgia Composite State Board of Medical Examiners. hawaii.gov/dcca/areas/pvl/board/medical, Hawaii Board of Medical Examiners. bom.state.id.us, Idaho Board of Medicine. dpr.state.il.us, Illinois Department of Professional Regulation. in.gov/hpb, Indiana Health Professions Bureau. docboard.org/ia/ia_home.htm, Iowa Board of Medical Examiners. ky.gov/agencies/kbml, Kentucky Board of Medical Licensure. lsbme.org, Louisiana Board of Medical Examiners. docboard.org/me/me_home.htm, Maine Board of Licensure in Medicine. docboard.org/me-osteo, Maine Board of Osteopathic Physicians. bpqa.state.md.us, Maryland Board of Physician Quality Assurance. massmedboard.org, Massachusetts Board of Registration in Medicine. cis.state.mi.us/free/default.asp, Michigan Bureau of Health Services. bmp.state.mn.us, Minnesota Board of Medical Practice. msbml.state.ms.us, Mississippi State Board of Medical Licensure. pr.mo.gov/regulated-professions.asp, Missouri State Board of Registration for the Healing Arts. discoveringmontana.com/work/health_env.asp, Montana Healthcare Licensing Bureau. hhs.state.ne.us/reg/regindex.htm, Nebraska Health and Human Services Licensure. medboard.nv.gov, Nevada Board of Medical Examiners. osteo.state.nv.us/index.htm, Nevada Osteopathic Medicine Board. webster.state.nh.us/medicine, New Hampshire State Board of Medicine. state.nj.us/lps/ca/medical.htm #BME5, New Jersey Board of Medical Examiners. state.nm.us/nmbme, New Mexico Board of Medical Examiners. rld.state.nm.us/b_c/osteo/index.htm, New Mexico Osteopathic Examiners Board. health.state.ny.us/nisdo/opmc/main.htm, New York Office of Professional Medical Conduct. ncmedboard.org, North Carolina Medical Board. ndbomex.com, North Dakota State Board of Medical Examiners. state.oh.us/med, State of Ohio Medical Board. okmedicalboard.org/index.php, Oklahoma Board of Medical Licensure and Supervision. bme.state.or.us, Oregon Board of Medical Examiners. dos.state.pa.us/bpoa/view.asp?mark=1104$q=4327799, Pennsylvania State Board of Medicine. docboard.org/ri/main.htm, Rhode Island Board of Medical Licensure and Discipline. llr.state.sc.us/poll/medical, South Carolina Board of Medical Examiners. state.sd.us/dcr/medical, South Dakota Medical Board. state.tn.us/health/board/me/index.htm, Tennessee Board of Medical Examiners. state.tn.us/health/board/osteo/index.htm, Tennessee Board of Osteopathic Examination. tsbme.state.tx.us, Texas State Board of Medical Examiners. dopl.utah.gov, Utah Division of Occupational and Professional Licensing. healthyvermonters.info/bmp/bmp.shtml, Vermont Board of Medical Practice. vtprofessionals.org, Vermont Office of Professional Regulation. dhp.state.va.us/medicine, Virginia Board of Medicine. wa.gov/do/hpqa-licensing/hps5/medical/default.htm, Washington State Medical Quality Assurance Commission. wvdhhr.org/wvbum, West Virginia Board of Medicine. state.wv.us/pdosteo, West Virginia Board of Osteopathy. drl.state.wi.us, Wisconsin Department of Regulation and Licensing. wyomboard.state.wy.us, Wyoming Board of Medicine. State Agency on Aging websites. adses.state.al.us, Alabama Department of Senior Services. alaskaaging.org, Alaska Commission on Aging. azeta.gov/AAA, Arizona Aging and Adult Administration. state.ar.us/DHS/aging, Arkansas Division of Aging and Adult Services. aging.state.ca.us, California Department of Aging. cdhs.state.co.us/adr/aas/index1.html, Colorado Division of Aging and Adult Services. ctelderlyservices.state.ct.us, Connecticut Elderly Services Division. dsaapd.com/index.htm, Delaware Aging Services. dcoa.dc.gov/main.shtm, District of Columbia Office on Aging. elderaffairs.state.fl.us, Florida Department of Elder Affairs. state.ga.us/departments/dhr/aging.html, Georgia Division of Aging Services. state.hi.us/EOA, Hawaii Executive Office on Aging. idahoaging.com/program/index.htm, Idaho Commission on Aging. state.il.us/aging, Illinois Department on Aging. state.in.us/fss/elderly/index.html, Indiana Senior Services. state.ia.us/elder affairs, Iowa Department of Elder Affairs. agingkansas.org/kdoa, Kansas Department on Aging. chs.state.ky.us/aging, Kentucky Division of Aging Services. louisiana.gov/wps/.cmd/cs/.ce/103958/_s/3958/qt=aging, Louisiana Aging Services. state.me.us/dhs/bios, Maine Bureau of Elder and Adult Services. mdoa.state.md.us, Maryland Department of Aging. mass.gov/portal/index.jsp question mark page ID =MG2 topic &L =3 &L0 home &L1 resident &L2 elders &SID =MassGov2, Massachusetts Senior Services. meseniors.net/me seniors plus home, Michigan Senior Services. mnaging.org, Minnesota Board on Aging. mdhs.state.ms.us/aas.html, Mississippi Division of Aging and Adult Services. dhss.state.mo.us, Missouri Senior Services. dphs.state.mt.us/sltc, Montana Senior Services. hhs.state.ne.us/ags/agsindex.htm, Nebraska Aging Services. nvaging.net, Nevada Division for Aging Services. dhhs.state.nh.us/dhhs/ba/default.htm, New Hampshire Senior Services. state.newjersey.us/health/senior/index.shtml, New Jersey Aging Services. nmaging.state.nm.us, New Mexico Aging Services. aging.state.ny.us/index.htm, New York Office for the Aging. dhhs.state.nc.us/aging/home.htm, North Carolina Aging and Adult Services. state.nd.us/human services/services/adults aging, North Dakota Aging Services Division. state.oh.us/age, Ohio Department of Aging. okdhs.org/aging, Oklahoma Aging Services Division. dhs.state.or.us/seniors, Oregon Senior Services. aging.state.pa.us, Pennsylvania Department of Aging. dea.state.ri.us, Rhode Island Senior Services. dhhs.state.sc.us/service recipients/seniors.htm, South Carolina Senior Services. state.sd.us/social/aces/index.htm, South Dakota Aging Services. state.tn.us/comaging, Tennessee Commission on Aging. tdoa.state.tx.us, Texas Department on Aging. hsdaas.utah.gov, Utah Senior Services. dad.state.vt.us, Vermont Department of Aging. aging.state.va.us, Virginia Department of Aging. aasa.dshs.wa.gov, Washington Senior Services. state.wv.us/senior services, West Virginia Bureau of Senior Services. dhfs.state.wi.us/aging, Wisconsin Senior Services. wdhfs.state.wy.us/aging/index.htm, Wyoming Aging Services. State Chiropractic Board websites. churo.state.al.us, Alabama State Board of Chiropractic Examiners. dced.state.ak.us/occ/pchi.htm, Alaska Board of Chiropractic Examiners. azcheroboard.com, Arizona Board of Chiropractic Examiners. accessarkansas.org/ASBCE, Arkansas State Board of Chiropractic Examiners. churo.ca.gov, California Board of Chiropractic Examiners. dora.state.co.us/chiropractic, Colorado Board of Chiropractic Examiners. ct-clic.com/trantipe.asp code =748, Connecticut Chiropractic Licensing. professionallicensing.state.de.us/board/chiropractic/index.shtml, Delaware Board of Chiropractic. dchealth.dc.gov/prof_license/services/boards_main_action.asp question mark strap PID =3, District of Columbia Board of Chiropractors. doh.state.fl.us/mqs/churro/churro_home.html, Florida Board of Chiropractic Medicine. sos.state.ga.us/plb/churro, Georgia Board of Chiropractic Examiners. hawaii.gov/dcca/area/pbl/board/churro-practor, Hawaii Board of Chiropractic Examiners. ebol.idaho.gov/chi.htm, Idaho State Board of Chiropractic Physicians. ildpr.com/who/churro.asp, Illinois Professional Chiropractor Licensing. in.gov/hpb/board/ibce, Indiana Board of Chiropractic Examiners. idph.state.ia.us/lickensure/board_home.asp?board=ch, Iowa Board of Chiropractic Examiners. ksbha.org, Kansas State Board of Healing Arts. lachchiropracticboard.com, Louisiana State Board of Chiropractic Examiners. state.me.us/pfr/olr/categories/cat11.htm, Maine Chiropractor Licensing. mdchero.org, Maryland Board of Chiropractic Examiners. mass.gov/dpl/board/ch, Massachusetts Board of Chiropractors. Michigan.gov/MD/0,16075-27417_27529_27531-00.html, Michigan Board of Chiropractic. mn-churroboard.state.mn.us, Minnesota Board of Chiropractic Examiners. pr.mo.gov/churro-practors.asp, Missouri State Board of Chiropractic Examiners. discovering-montana.com/dli/bsd/license/bsd_board/chi_board/board_page.asp, Montana Board of Chiropractors. hhs.state.ne.us/reg/bdhealth.htm, Nebraska State Board of Health. churrobd.nv.gov, Nevada Chiropractic Physicians Board. state.nj.us/lps/ca/medical/chiropractic.htm, New Jersey Board of Chiropractic Examiners. rld.state.nm.us/b&c/chiropractic/index.htm, New Mexico Chiropractic Examiners Board. op.nice.gov/churro.htm, New York State Chiropractic Licensing. churrobd.ohio.gov, Ohio State Chiropractic Board. okchiropracticboard.com, Oklahoma Board of Chiropractic Examiners. obce.state.or.us, Oregon Board of Chiropractic Examiners. dos.state.pa.us/bpoa/cwp/view.asp?mark=sign 1104$q=4325533, Pennsylvania State Board of Chiropractic. llr.state.sc.us/poll/churro-practors/index.asp, South Carolina Board of Chiropractic Examiners. state.sd.us/do/chiropractic, South Dakota Chiropractic Board. state.tn.us/health/board/chiropractic, Tennessee Board of Chiropractic Examiners. tbce.state.tx.us, Texas Board of Chiropractic Examiners. dopl.utah.gov/licensing/chiropractic.html, Utah Chiropractic Physician Licensing Board. vtprofessionals.org/opr1/churro-practors, Vermont Board of Chiropractic. dhp.state.va.us/medicine/default.htm, Virginia Board of Medicine. fortress.wa.gov/do/hpqa1/hps3/chiropractic/default.htm, Washington Chiropractic Quality Assurance Commission. wvbuck.com, West Virginia Board of Chiropractic Examiners. drl.wi.gov/prof/chur/def.htm, Wisconsin Chiropractor Licensing. plboards.state.wy.us/chiroperacetic/index.asp, Wyoming Board of Chiropractic Examiners. State Counselor Board websites. apc.state.al.us, Alabama Board of Examiners in Counseling. dced.state.ak.us/occ/ppco.htm, Alaska Board of Professional Counselors. bbhe.state.az.us, Arizona Board of Behavioral Health Examiners. arkansas.gov/apc, Arkansas State Board of Examiners in Counseling. california-registry.org, California Registry of Professional Counselors. dora.state.co.us/mental-health/lpcboard.htm, Colorado Licensed Professional Counselors Examiners Board. ct-clic.com/trantipe.asp code =843, Connecticut Professional Counselor Licensing. dpr.delaware.gov/board/prof-counselors/index.shtml, Delaware Board of Professional Counselors. doh.state.fl.us/mqs/491/soc_home.html, Florida Board of Mental Health Counseling. sos.state.ga.us/plb/counselors, Georgia Board of Professional Counselors. hawaii.gov/dcca/area/pbl/program/mental, Hawaii Mental Health Counselor Licensing. ebol.idaho.gov/cu.htm, Idaho State Licensing Board of Professional Counselors. ildpr.com/who/prfcns.asp, Illinois Professional Counselor Licensing. in.gov/hpb/board/mhcb, Indiana Mental Health Counselor Board. idph.state.ia.us/lickensure/board_home.asp?board=b, Iowa Behavioral Science Examiners Board. ksbsrb.org, Kansas Behavioral Sciences Regulatory Board. finance.ky.gov/our cabinet/cabo-ff/oas/op/procoun, Kentucky Board of Licensed Professional Counselors. lpcboard.org, Louisiana Licensed Professional Counselors Board. state.me.us/pfr/olr/categories/cat13.htm, Maine Professional Counselors Licensing. dhmh.state.md.us/bopc, Maryland State Board of Professional Counselors. mass.gov/dpl/board/mh, Massachusetts Board of Allied Mental Health. michigan.gov/md/0, 00,16275-27427-00.html, Michigan Board of Counseling. bbht.state.mn.us, Minnesota Board of Behavioral Health and Therapy. lpc.state.ms.us, Mississippi Board of Licensed Professional Counselors. pr.mo.gov/counselors.asp, Missouri State Committee for Professional Counselors. mt.gov/dli/bsd/license/bsd_board/swp_board/page.asp, Montana Board of Professional Counselors. hhs.state.ne.us/crl/mhcs/mental/mental-health.htm, Nebraska Mental Health Licensing. state.nh.us/mhpb, New Hampshire Board of Mental Health Practice. state.nj.us/lps/ca/medical/procouncil.htm, New Jersey Professional Counselor Examiners Committee. rld.state.nm.us/b_c/counseling/index.htm, New Mexico Counseling Board. op.nice.gov/mhp.htm, New York State Mental Health Practitioner Licensing. ncblpc.org, North Carolina Board of Licensed Professional Counselors. edutech.nodac.edu/ndbce, North Dakota Board of Counselor Examiners. cswmft.ohio.gov/clicen.stm, Ohio Counselors Licensing. health.state.ok.us/program/LPC, Oklahoma Professional Counselor Licensing. oblpct.state.or.us, Oregon Board of Licensed Professional Counselors. dos.state.pa.us/bpoa/cwp/view.asp?1=104$q=433177, Pennsylvania Board of Professional Counselors. healthri.org/hsr/profession/mf_council.php, Rhode Island Board of Mental Health Counselors. llr.state.sc.us/poll/counselors, South Carolina Professional Counselor Licensing. state.sd.us/dhs/board/counselor, South Dakota Counselor Board. state.tn.us/health/board/pc_mft_cpt/index.htm, Tennessee Board of Professional Counselors. tdh.state.tx.us/hcqs/plc/lpc/lpc_def.htm, Texas State Board of Professional Counselors. dopl.utah.gov/licensing/professional_counselor.html, Utah Professional Counselor Licensing Board. vtprofessionals.org/opr1/allied, Vermont Allied Mental Health Practitioners Board. dhp.state.va.us/counseling, Virginia Board of Counseling. fortress.wa.gov/do/hpqa1/hps7/registered_counselor/default.htm, Washington Registered Counselor Program. wvbec.org, West Virginia Board of Examiners in Counseling. drl.wi.gov/prof/count/def.htm, Wisconsin Professional Counselor Licensing. plboards.state.wy.us/mentalhealth/index.asp, Wyoming Mental Health Professions Licensing Board. State Dental Board websites. dentalboard.org, Board of Dental Examiners of Alabama. dced.state.ak.us/occ/pden.htm, Alaska Board of Dental Examiners. azdentalboard.org, Arizona State Board of Dental Examiners. asbeta.org, Arkansas State Board of Dental Examiners. dbc.ca.gov, Dental Board of California. dora.state.co.us/dental, Colorado Board of Dental Examiners. ct-clic.detail.asp?code=1688, Connecticut Department of Public Health, Dental Licensure. Professional licensing.state.de.us/board/dental/index.shtml, Delaware Board of Dental Examiners. doh.state.fl.us/mqs/dentistry/dn_home.html, Florida Board of Dentistry. sos.state.ga.us/plb/dentistry, Georgia Board of Dentistry. hawaii.gov/dcca/areas/pvl/board/dentist, State of Hawaii Professional Licensing, Dental. state.id.us/isbd/index.htm, Idaho State Board of Dentistry. dpr.state.il.us/who/dent.asp, Illinois Department of Professional Regulation. state.in.us/hpb/board/isbd, Indiana State Board of Dentistry. state.ia.us/dental board, Iowa Board of Dental Examiners. accesskansas.org/kdb, Kansas Dental Board. dentistry.state.ky.us, Kentucky Board of Dentistry. lsbd.org, Louisiana State Board of Dentistry. maindental.org, Maine Board of Dental Examiners. dhmh.state.md.us/dental, Maryland State Board of Dental Examiners. state.ma.us/reg/board/dn, Massachusetts Board of Registration in Dentistry. Michigan.gov/MD/CH/0,16017,27417_27529_27533-00.html, Michigan Board of Dentistry. dentalboard.state.mn.us, Minnesota Board of Dentistry. msbeta.state.ms.us/mainpg.htm, Mississippi State Board of Dental Examiners. pr.mo.gov/dental.asp, Missouri State Dental Board. discoveringontana.com/dli/bsd/license/bsd_board/den_board/board_page.asp, Montana Board of Dentistry. hhs.state.ne.us/reg/regindex.htm, Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services Regulation and Licensure. nvdentalboard.org, Nevada State Board of Dental Examiners. state.nh.us/dental, New Hampshire Board of Dental Examiners. state.nj.us/lps/ca/medical/dentistry.htm, New Jersey State Board of Dentistry. rld.state.nm.us/b_c/dental/index.htm, New Mexico Board of Dental Healthcare. op.nis.gov/dent.htm, New York State Office of the Professions, Dentistry. ncdentalboard.org, North Carolina State Board of Dental Examiners. nddentalboard.org, North Dakota Board of Dental Examiners. state.ok.us/dentist, Oklahoma Board of Dentistry. oregondentistry.org, Oregon Board of Dentistry. dos.state.pa.us/bpoa/cwp/view.asp?**q=43267, Pennsylvania State Board of Dentistry. healthri.org/hsr/professions/dental.php, Rhode Island Board of Examiners in Dentistry. llr.state.sc.us/poll/dentistry, South Carolina Board of Dentistry. state.sd.us/do/dentistry, South Dakota Board of Dentistry. state.tn.us/health/board/dentistry/index.htm, Tennessee Board of Dentistry. tsbeta.state.tx.us, Texas State Board of Dental Examiners. dopl.utah.gov/licensing/dental.html, Utah Dentist and Dental Hygienist Licensing Board. vtprofessionals.org/opr1/dentists, Vermont Board of Dental Examiners. dhp.state.va.us/dentistry/default.htm, Virginia Board of Dentistry. fortress.wa.gov/do/hpqa1/hps3/dental/default.htm, Washington State Dental Quality Assurance Commission. wvdentalboard.org, West Virginia Board of Dental Examiners. drl.wi.gov/prof/dent/def.htm, Wisconsin Department of Regulation and Licensing, Dentist. plboards.state.wy.us/dental/index.asp, Wyoming Board of Dental Examiners. State Environmental Health Websites. adem.state.al.us, Alabama Department of Environmental Management. dec.state.ak.us/a, Alaska Division of Environmental Health. 8q.state.az.us, Arizona Department of Environmental Quality. 8q.state.ar.us, Arkansas Department of Environmental Quality. calpa.ca.gov, California Environmental Protection Agency. cdphe.state.co.us/cdphom.asp, Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment. dep.state.ct.us, Connecticut Department of Environmental Protection. dnrec.state.de.us/dnrec2000, Delaware Department of Natural Resources and Environmental Control. dep.state.fl.us, Florida Department of Environmental Protection. dnr.state.ga.us/dnr/environ, Georgia Department of Natural Resources. state.hi.us/do/s/s.pg07.htm, Hawaii State of Department Health. deq.state.id.us, Idaho Department of Environmental Quality. epa.state.il.us, Illinois Environmental Protection Agency. state.in.us/idem/index.html, Indiana Department of Environmental Management. iowadnr.com, Iowa Department of Natural Resources. kdhe.state.ks.us/environment/index.html, Kansas Department of Health and Environment. nr.state.ky.us, Kentucky Environmental and Public Protection Cabinet. deq.state.la.us, Louisiana Department of Environmental Quality. state.me.us/dep/index.shtml, Maine Department of Environmental Protection. mde.state.md.us, Maryland Department of the Environment. state.ma.us/dep/dephome.htm, Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection. michigan.gov/deq, Michigan Department of Environmental Quality. pca.state.mn.us, Minnesota Pollution Control Agency. deq.state.ms.us/mdeq.nsf/page/main_home?open document, Mississippi Department of Environmental Quality. dnr.state.mo.us/home.dnr.htm, Missouri Department of Natural Resources. deq.state.mt.us, Montana Department of Environmental Quality. deq.state.ne.us, Nebraska Department of Environmental Quality. ndep.nv.gov/index.htm, Nevada Department of Conservation and Natural Resources. des.state.nh.us, New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services. state.nj.us/dep, New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection. nmenv.state.nm.us, New Mexico Environment Department. dec.state.ny.us, New York Department of Environmental Conservation. enr.state.nc.us, North Carolina Department of Environment and Natural Resources. health.state.nd.us/ndhd/environ, North Dakota Department of Health Environmental Health Section. epa.state.oh.us, Ohio Environmental Protection Agency. deq.state.ok.us, Oklahoma Department of Environmental Quality. deq.state.or.us, Oregon Protecting Environment. dep.state.pa.us, Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection. state.ri.us/dem, Rhode Island Department of Environmental Management. scdhec.net, South Carolina Department of Health and Environmental Control. state.sd.us/denar/denar.html, South Dakota Department of Environment and Natural Resources. state.tn.us/environment, Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation. Texas Commission on Environmental Quality. eq.state.ut.us, Utah Department of Environmental Quality. anr.state.vt.us/dec/dec.htm, Vermont Department of Environmental Conservation. deq.state.va.us, Virginia Department of Environmental Quality. doh.wa.gov/epi/ts/default.htm, Washington Office of Environmental Health and Safety. wvdhhr.org/OS, West Virginia Office of Environmental Health Services. dhfs.state.wi.us/e, Wisconsin Environmental Health Resources. deq.state.wy.us, Wyoming Department of Environmental Quality. State Health Statistics websites. ph.state.al.us/chs/health statistics/healthstatistics.htm, Alabama State Health Statistics. health.hss.state.ak.us/dph/bbs, Alaska State Health Statistics. hs.state.az.us/plan/index.htm, Arizona State Health Statistics. healthyarkansas.com/data/data.html, Arkansas State Health Statistics. dhs.cahwnet.gov/home/statistics, California State Health Statistics. cdpe.state.co.us/stats.asp, Colorado State Health Statistics. dph.state.ct.us/publications/publications.htm, Connecticut State Health Statistics. doh.state.fl.us/planning_eval/ph-stats/index.html, Florida State Health Statistics. hawaii.gov/health/statistics, Hawaii State Health Statistics. state.id.us/dhw/vital_stats/index_vital.htm, Idaho State Health Statistics. idph.state.il.us/health/stats-home.htm, Illinois State Health Statistics. state.in.us/isdh/data-and-stats/data_and_statistics.htm, Indiana State Health Statistics. idph.state.ia.us/resources.asp, Iowa State Health Statistics. kdhe.state.ks.us/ches/index.html, Kansas State Health Statistics. chs.ky.gov/publichealth/data-warehouse.htm, Kentucky State Health Statistics. oph.dhh.state.la.us/record statistics/statistics/index.html, Louisiana State Health Statistics. maine.gov/dhs/bohodr/index.htm, Maine State Health Statistics. dhmh.state.md/health/info and data.htm, Maryland State Health Statistics. state.ma.us/dph/pubstats.htm, Massachusetts State Health Statistics. michigan.gov/md/0,16007,7-132-2944-00.html, Michigan State Health Statistics. health.state.mn.us/stats.html, Minnesota State Health Statistics. msdh.state.ms.us/msdh-site/index.cfm/31, Mississippi State Health Statistics. health.state.mo.us/gl request/data.html, Missouri State Health Statistics. dphhs.state.mt.us/services/statistical_information/statistical_information.htm, Montana State Health Statistics. hhs.state.ne.us/srd/srd-index.htm, Nebraska State Health Statistics. health2k.state.nv.us/nihds/center.htm, Nevada State Health Statistics. dhhs.state.nh.us/dhhs/hsdm/default.htm, New Hampshire State Health Statistics. state.nj.us/health/chs/index.html, New Jersey State Health Statistics. doewbs2.health.state.nm.us/vitalrec/health%20stats.htm, New Mexico State Health Statistics. health.state.ny.us/nisdo/vital_statistics/index.htm, New York State Health Statistics. schs.state.nc.us/schs, North Carolina State Health Statistics. vitalnd.com, North Dakota State Health Statistics. odh.state.oh.us/data/datamain.htm, Ohio State Health Statistics. health.state.ok.us/program/chs/index.html, Oklahoma State Health Statistics. ohd.hr.state.or.us/chs, Oregon State Health Statistics. dsf.health.state.pa.us/health/cwp/view.asp?$175 $Q=$22871, Pennsylvania State Health Statistics. health.ri.gov/data/index.php, Rhode Island State Health Statistics. scdhec.net/hs/apdata/state_reports.htm, South Carolina State Health Statistics. state.sd.us/do/stat/index.htm, South Dakota State Health Statistics. state.tn.us/health/data.htm, Tennessee State Health Statistics. tdh.state.tx.us/chs/default.htm, Texas State Health Statistics. health.utah.gov/hdia, Utah State Health Statistics. healthyvermonters.info/hs/vital/2001/toc.shtml, Vermont State Health Statistics. vdh.state.va.us/healthstat/index.asp, Virginia State Health Statistics. doh.wa.gov/data/data.htm, Washington State Health Statistics. wvdhr.org/bph/oehp/hsc/default.htm, West Virginia State Health Statistics. dhfs.wisconsin.gov/stat/index.htm?NAV=$mo, Wisconsin State Health Statistics. State Immunization Program websites. adph.org/immunization, Alabama Immunization Division. epi.hss.state.ak.us/default.asp, Alaska Epidemiology Programs. azdhs.gov/phs/imm/index.htm, Arizona Immunization Program. healthyarkansas.com/faq/faq_immunizations.html, Arkansas Immunization FAQs. dhs.ca.gov/ps/dcdc/isgroup, California Immunization Programs. cdpe.state.co.us/dc/immunization/immhom.asp, Colorado Immunization Program. ct.gov/dph/site/default.asp, Connecticut Immunization Services. dhss.delaware.gov/dhss/dph/index.html, Delaware Immunization Information. doh.dc.gov/do/cwp/view, 13745Q58068-1, District of Columbia Immunization Program. And NBSP, BR. doh.state.fl.us/disease_control/immune/index.html, Florida Bureau of Immunization. hawaii.gov/health/family-child-health/immunization/general/index.html, Hawaii Immunization Program. health.wa.gov/portal/alias__lang_n_n-hyphen/us/tabd_3383/desktop-default.aspx, Idaho Immunization Program. idph.state.il.us/about/shots.htm, Illinois Immunization Program. in.gov/isdh/program/immunization.htm, Indiana Immunization Information. idph.state.ia.us/adper/disease_prevention_immunization.asp, Iowa Immunization Information. kdhex.gov/immunize, Kansas Immunization Program. chfs.ky.gov/dph/ap/immunization-programs.htm, Kentucky Immunization Programs. dhh.louisiana.gov/offices/?id=265, Louisiana Immunization Program. maine.gov/dhhs/bo/mip/index_home.htm, Maine Immunization Program. edcp.org/html/immpg.html, Maryland Center for Immunization. mass.gov/dph/cdc/apimm2.htm, Massachusetts Immunization Information. michigan.gov/mdch/0,160-7,4911-2-4911-4911-00.html, Michigan Immunization Information. msdh.state.ms.us/msdh site/index.cfm/14,0,71,html, Mississippi Immunization Information. dhss.mo.gov/babyyourbaby/immunizations.html, Missouri Immunization Information. dphhs.mt.gov/phsd/immunization/immune-index.shtml, Montana Immunization Services. hhs.state.ne.us/imm/immindex.htm, Nebraska Immunization Program. health2k.state.nv.us/immune, Nevada Immunization Program. state.nj.us/health/cd/vpdphome.htm, New Jersey Immunization Information. health.state.nm.us/immunize/index.html, New Mexico Immunization Program. health.state.ny.us/prevention/immunization/index.htm, New York Immunization Program. immunizenc.com, North Carolina Immunization Information. health.state.nd.us/immunize, North Dakota Immunization Program. odh.ohio.gov/odh program/idc/immunize/immindex1.aspx, Ohio Immunization Program. health.state.ok.us/program/imm, Oklahoma Immunization Service. oregon.gov/dh/ph/imm/index.shtml, Oregon Immunization Program. dsf.health.state.pa.us/health/cwp/view.asp??ID=178$, Pennsylvania Immunization Services. health.ri.gov/family/immunization/index.php, Rhode Island Immunization Program. scdhec.net/health/disease/immunization/index.htm, South Carolina Immunization Services. doh.sd.gov/immunize/default.aspx, South Dakota Immunization Information. health.state.tn.us/sed/immunization.htm, Tennessee Immunization Program. dshs.state.tx.us/immunize/default.shtm, Texas Immunization Services. immunize-utah.org/default.htm, Utah Immunization Program. healthvermont.gov/hc/imm/index.aspx, Vermont Immunization Schedule. vdh.state.va.us/imm, Virginia Immunization Services. doh.wa.gov/cfh/immunize, Washington Immunization Program. wvdhr.org/immunizations, West Virginia Immunization Program. dhfs.state.wi.us/immunization/index.htm, Wisconsin Immunization Program. wdhfs.state.wy.us/immunization, Wyoming Immunization Services. State Insurance Board websites. aldoi.org, Alabama Department of Insurance. dced.state.ak.us/insurance, Alaska Division of Insurance. id.state.az.us, Arizona Department of Insurance. state.ar.us/insurance, Arkansas Insurance Department. insurance.ca.gov/docs/index.html, California Department of Insurance. dora.state.co.us/insurance, Colorado Division of Insurance. state.ct.us/sid, Connecticut Insurance Department. state.de.us/inscom, Delaware Insurance Department. disar.washingtondc.gov, District of Columbia Department of Insurance. doi.state.fl.us, Florida Department of Financial Services. gainsurance.org, Georgia Insurance Department. state.hi.us/dcca/ins, Hawaii Division of Insurance. doi.state.id.us, Idaho Department of Insurance. ins.state.il.us/default2.htm, Illinois Division of Insurance. ai.org/edoi/index.html, Indiana Department of Insurance. iid.state.ia.us, Iowa Insurance Division. ksinsurance.org, Kansas Insurance Department. doi.state.ky.us, Kentucky Office of Insurance. ldi.la.gov, Louisiana Department of Insurance. maininsurancereg.org, Maine Bureau of Insurance. mdinsurance.state.md.us, Maryland Insurance Administration. state.ma.us/doi, Massachusetts Division of Insurance. michigan.gov/0,160,7-154-15555-00.html, Michigan Office of Financial and Insurance Services. And NBSP, BR. commerce.state.mn.us, Minnesota Department of Insurance. doi.state.ms.us, Mississippi Department of Insurance. insurance.state.mo.us, Missouri Department of Insurance. state.mt.us/south/insurance/index.html, Montana Insurance Division. nol.org/home/ndoi, Nebraska Department of Insurance. doi.state.nv.us, Nevada Division of Insurance. state.nh.us/insurance, New Hampshire Insurance Department. state.nj.us/dobe/index.html, New Jersey Department of Insurance. nmprc.state.nm.us/insham.htm, New Mexico Insurance Division. ins.state.ny.us, New York Insurance Department. ncdoi.com, North Carolina Department of Insurance. state.nd.us/ndins, North Dakota Insurance Department. ohioinsurance.gov, Ohio Department of Insurance. oid.state.ok.us, Oklahoma Insurance Department. cbs.state.or.us/external/in/index.html, Oregon Insurance Division. ins.state.pa.us/in/site/default.asp, Pennsylvania Insurance Department. dbr.state.ri.us/insurance.html, Rhode Island Division of Insurance. doi.state.sc.us, South Carolina Department of Insurance. state.sd.us/drr2/reg/insurance, South Dakota Division of Insurance. state.tn.us/commerce, Tennessee Department of Insurance. tdi.state.tx.us, Texas Department of Insurance. insurance.utah.gov, Utah Insurance Department. bishca.state.vt.us, Vermont Department of Insurance. state.va.us/scc/division/boi/index.htm, Virginia Bureau of Insurance. insurance.wa.gov, Washington Insurance Department. State.wv.us/insurance, West Virginia Insurance Commission. Badger.state.wi.us/agencies/oc/home.htm, Wisconsin Insurance Commission. Insurance.state.wy.us, Wyoming Insurance Department. State Medicaid Agency websites. Medicaid.state.al.us, Alabama Providers General Recipients. hss.state.ak.us/DMA, Alaska Department of Health and Social Services. ACCCS.state.az.us, Arizona Healthcare Cost Containment System. Medicaid.state.ar.us, Arkansas General Provider Consumer Research. dhs.ca.gov/mcs, California Medical Care Services. chcpf.state.co.us, Colorado Medical Assistance Program Information Center. dss.state.co.us/svc/medical/index.htm, Connecticut Department of Social Services. State.de.us/dhss/dss/medicaid.html, Delaware Health and Social Services. dchealth.dc.gov/about/index_ma.shtm, District of Columbia Medical Assistance Administration. fdhc.state.fl.us/medicaid/index.shtml, Florida Agency for Healthcare Administration. communityhealth.state.ga.us, Georgia Department of Community Health. state.hi.us/dhs, Hawaii Department of Human Services. state.id.us/dhw/medicaid/index.htm, Idaho Department of Health and Welfare. dhs.state.il.us/mhdd/mh/medicaid information/mh_vol1_issue2.asp, Illinois Department of Human Services. in.gov/fsss/servicedisabl/medicaid/index.html, Indiana Family ANS Social Services Administration. dhs.state.ia.us/medicalservices/medicalservices.asp, Iowa Medical Assistance Services. srskansas.org/services/hcp_index.htm, Kansas Department of Social and Rehabilitation Services. chs.state.ky.us/dms, Kentucky Cabinet for Health and Family Services. dhh.state.la.us/medicaid/index.htm, Louisiana Bureau of Health Services Financing. state.me.us/bms/bmshome.htm, Maine Bureau of Medical Services. dhmh.state.md.us/mma/mma.html, Maryland Medical Programs. state.ma.us/dma, Massachusetts Health and Human Services. mdch.state.mi.us/msa/mdch_msa/msa.htm, Michigan Medical Services Administration Medicaid Programs. dhs.state.mn.us/hlthcare/assistant-prog/mmap.htm, Minnesota Department of Human Services. dom.state.ms.us, Mississippi Division of Medicaid. dss.state.mo.us/dms, Missouri Division of Medical Services. dphhs.state.mt.us/hpsd/index.htm, Montana Department of Public Health and Safety Division. hhs.state.ne.us/med/medindex.htm, Nebraska Medicaid and Managed Care. dhcfp.state.nv.us, Nevada Division of Healthcare Financing and Policy. dhhs.state.nh.us/dhhs/medicaid program/default.htm, New Hampshire Department of Health and Human Resources. state.nj.us/human services/dmas/dhsmed.html, New Jersey Department of Human Services. state.nm.us/hsd/mad/index.html, New Mexico Medical Assistance Division. health.state.ny.us/NISDO/Medicaid/Medicaid.htm, New York Department of Health. dhhs.state.nc.us/DMA, North Carolina Division of Medical Assistance. lnotes.state.nd.us/dhs/dhsweb.nsf/servicepages/medical services, North Dakota Department of Human Services. state.oh.us/odjfs/ohp, Ohio Department of Job and Family Services Online. oka.state.ok.us, Oklahoma Healthcare Authority. oregon.gov/dhs/index.shtml, Oregon Department of Human Services. dpw.state.pa.us/omap/dpwomap.asp, Pennsylvania Department of Public Welfare. dhs.state.ri.us/dhs/dheacre.htm, Rhode Island Healthcare. dhhs.state.sc.us/default.htm, South Carolina Department of Health and Human Services. state.sd.us/social/medical/index.htm, South Dakota Medical Services. state.tn.us/10care, Tennessee Bureau of Tenncare. tdh.state.tx.us/medicaid.htm, Texas Medicaid-related programs. hlunix.hl.state.ut.us/medicaid, Utah Medicaid program. dsw.state.vt.us/districts/ovha/ovha5.htm, Vermont Health Access. dmas.virginia.gov, Virginia Department of Medical Assistance Services. fortress.wa.gov/dshs/ma, Washington Medical Assistance Administration. wvdhhr.org/bms, West Virginia Bureau of Medical Services. dhfs.state.wi.us/medicaid, Wisconsin Medicaid. wyequalitycare.acs-inc.com, Wyoming serving equality care providers. State Mental Health Agency websites. mh.state.al.us, Alabama Department of Mental Health and Mental Retardation. alaska.net/AMHB, Alaska Mental Health Board. hs.state.az.us/bhs/index.htm, Arizona Division of Behavioral Health Services. state.ar.us/dhs/dmhs, Arkansas Division of Behavioral Health Services. dmh.cahwnet.gov, California Department of Mental Health. cdhs.state.co.us/dmh, Colorado Division of Mental Health. dmhes.state.ct.us, Connecticut Department of Mental Health. state.de.us/dhss/dsamh/dmhhome.htm, Delaware Division of Substance Abuse and Mental Health. dmh.dc.gov/maine.shtm, District of Columbia Department of Mental Health. dcf.state.fl.us/mental health, Florida Mental Health Services. mhdad.dhr.georgia.gov/portal/site, Georgia Division of Mental Health. hawaii.gov/health/mental-health, Hawaii Mental Health Services. health.nwl.gov/alias__rainbow/lang__n-us/tabd__3458/desktop-default.aspx, Idaho Mental Health Program. dhs.state.il.us/mhdd/mh, Illinois Mental Health Services. in.gov/fss/servicemental, Indiana Division of Mental Health and Addiction. dhs.state.ia.us/mhdd, Iowa Division of Mental Health and Developmental Disabilities. srskansas.org/hcp/mhmain.htm, Kansas Mental Health Program. dhh.state.laus/omh, Louisiana Office of Mental Health. State.me.us/DMHMRSA, Maine Behavioral and Developmental Services. dhmh.state.md.us/mhs/index.htm, Maryland Mental Hygiene Administration. mass.gov/portal/index.jsp page ID =EOS2 agency landing &L =4 &L0 home &L1 government &L2 departments +& divisions &L3 department +of mental +health &SID =EOS2, Massachusetts Department of Mental Health. Michigan.gov/MD/0, Michigan Mental Health and Disability Services. dhs.state.mn.us/main/groups/disabilities/documents/pub/DHS_ID_000085.HCSB, Minnesota Mental Health Division. dmh.state.ms.us, Mississippi Department of Mental Health. dmh.missouri.gov, Missouri Department of Mental Health. dphs.state.mt.us/about_us/division/addictive_mental_disorders/addictive_mental_disorders.htm, Montana Addictive and Mental Disorders Division. hhs.state.ne.us/bes/mhsa.htm, Nebraska Mental Health, Substance Abuse and Addiction Services. mhds.state.nv.us, Nevada Division of Mental Health and Developmental Services. dhhs.state.nh.us/programs+services/topic.htm ? Selection mark selection item =22, New Hampshire Mental Health Programs. State.nj.us/human services/dmhs/index.html, New Jersey Mental Health Services. Health.state.nm.us, New Mexico Department of Health. omh.state.ny.us, New York Office of Mental Health. dhhs.state.nc.us/mhddsas, North Carolina Mental Health Programs. State.nd.us/human services/services/mental health/mental-health/index.html, North Dakota Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services. mh.state.oh.us, Ohio Department of Mental Health. odmhsas.org, Oklahoma Department of Mental Health. dhs.state.or.us/mental health, Oregon Mental Health Services. dpw.state.pa.us/disable/mental health services, Pennsylvania Mental Health Services. mhrh.state.ri.us, Rhode Island Department of Mental Health. state.sc.us/dmh, South Carolina Department of Mental Health. state.sd.us/dhs/dmh/index.htm, South Dakota Division of Mental Health. state.tn.us/mental, Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Developmental Disabilities. mhmr.state.tx.us, Texas Mental Health Services. dsamh.utah.gov/substanceabusetreatment.htm, Utah Division of Substance Abuse and Mental Health. state.vt.us/dmh, Vermont Department of Developmental and Mental Health Services. dshs.wa.gov/mental health, Washington State Mental Health Division. wvdhhr.org/bhhf, West Virginia Bureau for Behavioral Health. dhfs.state.wi.us/bqa-consumer/aota_mh/aota_mh-index.htm, Wisconsin Mental Health Services. mentalhealth.state.wy.us, Wyoming Mental Health Division. State Nursing Board websites. abn.state.al.us, Alabama Board of Nursing. dced.state.ak.us/occ/pner.htm, Alaska Board of Nursing. azboardofnursing.org, Arizona State Board of Nursing. arsbn.org, Arkansas State Board of Nursing. rn.ca.gov, California Board of Registered Nursing. bbnpt.ca.gov, California Board of Vocational Nursing and Psychiatric Technicians. dora.state.co.us/nursing, Colorado Board of Nursing. dph.state.us/public_health_hearing_office/hearing_board/nursing_board/bone.htm, Connecticut Board of Examiners for Nursing. Professional licensing.state.de.us/board/nursing/index.shtml, Delaware Board of Nursing. doh.state.fl.us/mqs/nursing/ner_home.html, Florida Board of Nursing. sos.state.ga.us/plb/rn, Georgia Board of Nursing. sos.state.ga.us/plb/lpn, Georgia Board of Examiners of Licensed Practical Nurses. hawaii.gov/dcca/areas/pvl/program/nurse, Hawaii Licensing Nursing. state.id.us/ibn/ibnhome.htm, Idaho Board of Nursing. ildpr.com/who/nas.asp, Illinois Professional Licensing, Nursing. in.gov/hpb/board/ISBN, Indiana State Board of Nursing. state.ia.us/nursing, Iowa Board of Nursing. ksbn.org, Kansas State Board of Nursing. kbn.ky.gov, Kentucky Board of Nursing. lsbn.state.la.us, Louisiana State Board of Nursing. state.me.us/Board of Nursing, Maine State Board of Nursing. mbone.org/maine.php, Maryland Board of Nursing. mass.gov/dpl/board/rn/default.htm, Massachusetts Board of Nursing. michigan.gov/mdch/0,160,7-132-27427/_27529_27542-5-0,0.html, Michigan Board of Nursing. state.mn.us/cgi-bin/portal/mn/jsp/home.do?agency =Nursing Board, Minnesotan Nursing Board. msbn.state.ms.us, Mississippi Board of Nursing. pr.mo.gov/nursing.asp, Missouri State Board of Nursing. hhs.state.ne.us/crl/nursing/nursing-index.htm, Nebraska Licensing, Nursing and Nursing Support. state.nh.us/nursing, New Hampshire Board of Nursing. state.nj.us/lps/ca/medical/nursing.htm, New Jersey Board of Nursing. state.nm.us/clients/nursing, New Mexico Board of Nursing. op.nis.gov/nurse.htm, New York Nursing Licensure. nursingboard.state.nv.us, Nevada State Board of Nursing. ncbon.com, North Carolina Board of Nursing. ndbone.org, North Dakota Board of Nursing. nursing.ohio.gov, Ohio Board of Nursing. youroklahoma.com/nursing/verify, Oklahoma Board of Nursing. osbn.state.or.us, Oregon State Board of Nursing. dos.state.pa.us/bpoa/cwp/view.asp?mark=sign 110 4 &Q=4328883, Pennsylvania State Board of Nursing. health.ri.gov/hsr/professions/nurses.php, Rhode Island Board of Nurse Registration. llr.state.sc.us/poll/nursing/index.asp, South Carolina Board of Nursing. state.sd.us/do/nursing, South Dakota Board of Nursing. state.tn.us/health/board/nursing, Tennessee Board of Nursing. bne.state.tx.us, Texas Board of Nurse Examiners. vtprofessionals.org/upr1/nurses, Vermont State Board of Nursing. dhp.state.va.us/nursing/default.htm, Virginia Board of Nursing. www.stu.wa.gov/do/hpqa-licensing/hps6/nursing/default.htm, Washington Nursing Care Quality Assurance Commission. lpnboard.state.wv.us, West Virginia Board of Examiners for Licensed Practical Nurses. wvrnboard.com, West Virginia Board of Examiners for Registered Professional Nurses. drl.wi.gov/board/nurse/index.htm, Wisconsin Board of Nursing. nursing.state.wy.us, Wyoming Board of Nursing. State Optometry Board websites. al-optometry.org, Alabama Board of Optometry. dced.state.ak.us/occ/popt.htm, Alaska Board of Optometry. asbo.state.az.us, Arizona State Board of Optometry. aroptometry.org, Arkansas State Board of Optometry. optometry.ca.gov, California Board of Optometry. dora.state.co.us/optometry/index.html, Colorado Board of Optometric Examiners. ibiblio.org/iab/state/ct/ctopt.html, Connecticut State Board of Optometry. professionallicensing.de.us/board/optometry/index.shtml, Delaware Board of Examiners in Optometry. dchealth.dc.gov/prof_license/services/boards_main_asp?strap PID =$14, District of Columbia Board of Optometry. doh.state.fl.us/mqs/optometry/op_home.html, Florida Board of Optometry. sos.state.ga.us/plb/optometry/default.htm, Georgia State Board of Optometry. hawaii.gov/dcca/areas/pvl/board/optometry, Hawaii Optometry Licensing. ebol.idaho.gov/opt.htm, Idaho State Board of Optometry. ildpr.com/who/opt.asp, Illinois Optometry Licensing. in.gov/hpb/board/iob, Indiana Optometry Board. idph.state.ia.us/lickensure/board_home.asp?board=opt, Iowa Board of Optometry Examiners. terraworld.net/kssbeo, Kansas Board of Examiners in Optometry. optometry.state.ky.us, Kentucky Board of Optometric Examiners. state.me.us/pfr/auxiliary board/optometry, Maine State Board of Optometry. mdoptometryboard.org, Maryland Board of Examiners in Optometry. mass.gov/dpl/board/op/index.htm, Massachusetts Board of Optometry. michigan.gov/mdch/0,1607529_27529_27546-00.html, Michigan Board of Optometry. optometryboard.state.mn.us, Minnesota Board of Optometry. pr.mo.gov/optometrists.asp, Missouri Board of Optometry. discoveringontana.com/dli/bsd/license/bsd_board/opt_board/board_page.asp, Montana Board of Optometry. optometry.nv.gov, Nevada Board of Optometry. state.nh.us/optometry, New Hampshire Board of Registration in Optometry. state.nj.us/lps/ca/medical/optometrist.htm, New Jersey Board of Optometrists. rld.state.nm.us/b&c/optometry, New Mexico Board of Optometry. op.nis.gov/optom.htm, New York Optometry Licensing. ncoptometry.org, North Carolina Board of Optometry. ndsbop.org/default.asp, North Dakota Board of Optometry. optometry.ohio.gov, Ohio State Optometry Board. state.ok.us/optometry, Oklahoma Board of Examiners in Optometry. oregonobio.org, Oregon Board of Optometry. dos.state.pa.us/bpoa/cwp/view.asp?1104 Pennsylvania Board of Optometry. health.ri.gov/hsr/profession/optom.php, Rhode Island Board of Examiners in Optometry. llr.state.sc.us/poll/optometry, South Carolina Board of Optometry. state.sd.us/do/optometry, South Dakota Board of Optometry. state.tn.us/health/board/optometry, Tennessee Board of Optometry. tob.state.tx.us, Texas Optometry Board. dopl.utah.gov/licensing/optometrist.html, Utah Optometrist Licensing Board. vtprofessionals.org/opr1/optometrists, Vermont Board of Optometry. dhp.state.va.us/optometry/default.htm, Virginia Board of Optometry. www.2.wa.gov/do/hpqa-licensing/hps4/optometry/default.htm, Washington Optometry Licensing. wvibo.org, West Virginia Board of Optometry. drl.wi.gov/board/opt, Wisconsin Optometry Examining Board. plboards.state.wy.us/optometry/index.asp, Wyoming Board of Examiners in Optometry. State Pharmacy Board websites. albop.com, Alabama Board of Pharmacy. dced.state.ak.us/occ/ppha.htm, Alaska Board of Pharmacy. pharmacy.state.az.us, Arizona State Board of Pharmacy. arkansas.gov/asbp, Arkansas State Board of Pharmacy. pharmacy.ca.gov, California Board of Pharmacy. dora.state.co.us/pharmacy/index.htm, Colorado Board of Pharmacy. ctdrugcontrol.com/rxcommission.htm, Connecticut Pharmacy Commission. Professional licensing.state.de.us/board/pharmacy/index.shtml, Delaware Board of Pharmacy. dchealth.dc.gov/prof_license/services/boards_main_action.asp?strap PID =15, District of Columbia Board of Pharmacy. doh.state.fl.us/mqs/pharmacy/ph_home.html, Florida Board of Pharmacy. sos.state.ga.us/plb/pharmacy, Georgia State Board of Pharmacy. hawaii.gov/dcca/area/pvl/board/pharmacy, Hawaii Division of Professional and Vocational Licensing, Pharmacy. state.id.us/bop, Idaho Board of Pharmacy. dpr.state.il.us/who/far.asp, Illinois Department of Professional Regulation, Pharmacy. in.gov/hpb/board/isbp, Indiana State Board of Pharmacy. state.ia.us/ibpe, Iowa State Board of Pharmacy Examiners. accesskansas.org/pharmacy, Kansas State Board of Pharmacy. state.ky.us/board/pharmacy, Kentucky Board of Pharmacy. LabP.com, Louisiana Board of Pharmacy. State.me.us/PFR/OLR/categories/cat30.htm, Main Office of Licensing and Registration, Pharmacists. DHMH.state.md.us/Pharmacy Board, Maryland Board of Pharmacy. State.ma.us/reg/board/ph, Massachusetts Board of Registration in Pharmacy. Michigan.gov/MD/CH/0, 1607527-2745-29747_00.00.html, Michigan Board of Pharmacy. phcybrd.state.mn.us, Minnesota Board of Pharmacy. mbp.state.ms.us, Mississippi Board of Pharmacy. pr.mo.gov/pharmacists.asp, Missouri Board of Pharmacy. discoveringontaنا.com/dli/bsd/license/bsd_board/fa_board/page.asp, Montana Board of Pharmacy. nvbop.gl-suite.us/renewal/glsweb/homeframe.aspx, Nevada State Board of Pharmacy. State.nh.us/pharmacy, New Hampshire Board of Pharmacy. State.nj.us/lps/ca/brief/farm.htm, New Jersey Board of Pharmacy. State.nm.us/pharmacy, New Mexico Board of Pharmacy. op.nice.gov/pharm.htm, New York State Office of the Professions, Pharmacy. ncbop.org/default3.asp, North Carolina Board of Pharmacy. nodacpharmacy.com, North Dakota Board of Pharmacy. pharmacy.ohio.gov, Ohio State Board of Pharmacy. state.ok.us/pharmacy, Oklahoma State Board of Pharmacy. pharmacy.state.or.us, Oregon Board of Pharmacy. dos.state.pa.us/bpoa/cwp/view.asp?*1104$q=4329995, Pennsylvania State Board of Pharmacy. health.ri.gov/hsr/professions/pharmacy.php, Rhode Island Board of Pharmacy. llr.state.sc.us/poll/pharmacy, South Carolina Board of Pharmacy. state.sd.us/do/pharmacy, South Dakota Board of Pharmacy. state.tn.us/commerce/board/pharmacy, Tennessee Board of Pharmacy. tsbp.state.tx.us, Texas State Board of Pharmacy. dopl.utah.gov/licensing/pharmacy.html, Utah State Board of Pharmacy. vtprofessionals.org/upr1/pharmacists, Vermont Board of Pharmacy. dhp.state.va.us/pharmacy/default.htm, Virginia Board of Pharmacy. www.stu.wa.gov/do/hpqa-licensing/hps4/pharmacy/default.htm, Washington State Board of Pharmacy. wvbop.com, West Virginia Board of Pharmacy. drl.wi.gov/prof/far/def.htm, Wisconsin Department of Regulation and Licensing, Pharmacist. soswy.state.wy.us/director/ag-bd/pharmacy.pdf, Wyoming Board of Pharmacy. State Psychology Board websites. psychology.state.al.us, Alabama Board of Examiners in Psychology. dced.state.ak.us/occ/ppsy.htm, Alaska Psychology Board. psychboard.az.gov, Arizona Board of Psychologist Examiners. accessarkansas.org/app, Arkansas Board of Examiners in Psychology. psychboard.ca.gov, California Board of Psychology. dora.state.co.us/mental-health/cyborg.htm, Colorado Psychologist Examiners Board. ct-clic.com/detail.asp code =1765, Connecticut Psychologist Licensing. Professional licensing.state.de.us/board/psychology, Delaware Board of Examiners of Psychologists. doh.state.fl.us/mqs/psychology/sci_home.html, Florida Board of Psychology. sos.state.ga.us/plb/psych, Georgia State Board of Examiners of Psychologists. hawaii.gov/dcca/areas/pvl/board/psychology, Hawaii Psychology Licensing. evol.idaho.gov/sci.htm, Idaho State Board of Psychologist Examiners. dpr.state.il.us/who/psych.asp, Illinois Psychology Licensing. in.gov/hpb/board/isbb, Indiana State Psychology Board. idph.state.ia.us/licensure/board_home.asp?board=sign Iowa Board of Psychology Examiners. ksbsrb.org/psychologists.html, Kansas Behavioral Sciences Regulatory Board. finance.ky.gov/our-cabinet/cabo-ff/oas/op/psych-bd, Kentucky Board of Examiners of Psychology. lsbep.org, Louisiana State Board of Examiners of Psychologists. state.me.us/pfr/olr/categories/cat35.htm, Maine Psychologists Licensing. dhmh.state.md.us/psych, Maryland Board of Psychologists. mass.gov/dpl/board/pi/index.htm, Massachusetts Board of Registration in Psychology. michigan.gov/sys/0, 16017,1757-1176925-59190-5-590-00.html, Michigan Board of Psychology. psychologyboard.state.mn.us, Minnesota Board of Psychology. psychologyboard.state.ms.us/msbp/msbp.nsf, Mississippi Board of Psychology. pr.mo.gov/psychologists.asp, Missouri State Committee of Psychologists. discoveringontana.com/dli/bsd/license/bsd_board/board/page.asp, Montana Board of Psychologists. hhs.state.ne.us/crl/mhcs/psych/psychindex.htm, Nebraska Psychology Licensing. psyexam.state.nv.us, Nevada Psychological Examiners Board. state.nh.us/mhpb/index.html, New Hampshire Board of Mental Health Practice. state.nj.us/lps/ca/medical/psycho.htm, New Jersey Board of Psychological Examiners. rld.state.nm.us/b&c/psychology, New Mexico Psychologist Examiners Board. op.nis.gov/psych.htm, New York Psychology Licensing. ncpsychologyboard.org, North Carolina Psychology Board. governor.state.nd.us/boards-query.asp?board_id=88, North Dakota Psychology Board. psychology.ohio.gov, Ohio State Board of Psychology. obpe.state.or.us, Oregon Board of Psychologist Examiners. dos.state.pa.us/bpoa/cwp/view.asp?mark=q=433051, Pennsylvania Board of Psychology. health.ri.gov/hsr/profession/psych.php, Rhode Island Board of Psychology. llr.state.sc.us/poll/psychology/index.asp, South Carolina Psychology Board. state.sd.us/dhs/board/psychologists/psych-ho.htm, South Dakota Board of Psychologists Examiners. state.tn.us/health/board/psychology, Tennessee Board of Examiners in Psychology. tsbep.state.tx.us/index.html, Texas State Board of Psychologists. dopl.utah.gov/licensing/psychologist.html, Utah Psychologist Licensing Board. vtprofessionals.org/upr1/psychologists, Vermont Psychology Board. dhp.state.va.us/psychology/default.htm, Virginia Board of Psychology. fortress.wa.gov/do/hpqa1/hps7/psychology/default.htm, Washington Board of Psychology. wvpsechbd.org, West Virginia Board of Examiners of Psychologist. drl.wi.gov/prof/psyc/def.htm, Wisconsin Psychologist Licensing. plboards.state.wy.us/psychology/index.asp, Wyoming Board of Psychology. State Social Work Board websites. abswe.state.al.us, Alabama Board of Social Work Examiners. dced.state.ak.us/occ/pcsw.htm, Alaska Board of Social Work Examiners. bbhe.state.az.us/index.html, Arizona Board of Behavioral Health Examiners. arkansas.gov/swlb, Arkansas Social Work Licensing Board. bbs.ca.gov, California Board of Behavioral Sciences. dora.state.co.us/mental-health/swboard.htm, Colorado Social Work Examiners Board. ct-clic.com/trantipe.asp code =856, Connecticut Social Work Licensing. Professional licensing.state.de.us/board/social workers/index.shtml, Delaware Board of Clinical Social Work Examiners. doh.state.fl.us/mqs/491/soc_home.html, Florida Board of Clinical Social Work. sos.state.ga.us/plb/counselors, Georgia Social Workers Board. hawaii.gov/dcca/area/pvl/program/social worker, Hawaii Social Worker Licensing. ebol.idaho.gov/swo.htm, Idaho State Board of Social Work Examiners. ildpr.com/who/sw.asp, Illinois Social Worker Licensing. in.gov/hpb/board/mhcb, Indiana Social Worker Board. idph.state.ia.us/lickensure/board_home.asp?board=SW, Iowa Board of Social Work Examiners. ksbsrb.org/social-workers.html, Kansas Social Worker Licensing. finance.ky.gov/ourcabinet/cabo-ff/oas/op/socwkbd, Kentucky Board of Social Work. labswe.org, Louisiana Board of Social Work Examiners. state.me.us/pfr/olr/categories/cat40.htm, Maine Social Worker Licensing. dhmh.state.md.us/bsway, Maryland Board of Social Work Examiners. mass.gov/dpl/board/sw, Massachusetts Board of Social Workers. michigan.gov/0,160.7-154-17671_17697-3-00977-00.html, Michigan Board of Social Work. socialwork.state.mn.us, Minnesota Board of Social Work. MSBOSWMFT.com, Mississippi State Board of Examiners for Social Workers. pr.mo.gov/socialworkers.asp, Missouri State Committee for Social Workers. discoveringontario.com/DLI/BSD/license/BSD_board/SWP_board/board_page.asp, Montana Board of Social Work Examiners. hhs.state.ne.us/crl/mhcs/mental/csw require.htm, Nebraska Certified Social Work Licensing. socwork.nv.gov, Nevada Board of Examiners for Social Workers. state.nj.us/lps/ca/social/swlic.htm, New Jersey Board of Social Work Examiners. rld.state.nm.us/b_c/social-wk, New Mexico Board of Social Work Examiners. op.nis.gov/csw.htm, New York Social Work Licensing. nccbsw.org, North Carolina Social Workers Board. ndbsway.com, North Dakota Board of Social Work Examiners. cswmft.ohio.gov, Ohio Counselors and Social Worker Board. osblsw.state.ok.us, Oklahoma State Board of Licensed Social Workers. bcsw.state.or.us, Oregon State Board of Licensed Clinical Social Workers. dos.state.pa.us/bpoa/cwp/view.asp?*q=$4331777, Pennsylvania Board of Social Workers. health.ri.gov/hs/profession/s_work.php, Rhode Island Board of Examiners in Social Workers. llr.state.sc.us/poll/socialworkers/index.asp, South Carolina Board of Social Work Examiners. state.sd.us/dhs/board/socialwork/soc-hom.htm, South Dakota Board of Social Worker Examiners. state.tn.us/health/board/sw, Tennessee Board of Social Workers. tdh.state.tx.us/hc/q/plc/lsw/lsw_default.htm, Texas Board of Social Work Examiners. dopl.utah.gov/licensing/social_work.html, Utah Social Worker Licensing Board. vtprofessionals.org/opr1/social_workers, Vermont Clinical Social Worker Licensing. dhp.state.va.us/social/default.htm, Virginia Board of Social Work. fortress.wa.gov/do/hpqa1/hps7/social_worker/default.htm, Washington Licensed Social Worker Program. wv.gov/offsite.aspx, u=. wvsocialworkboard.org, West Virginia Board of Social Work Examiners. drl.wi.gov/board/soc/index.htm, Wisconsin Social Work Examining Board. plboards.state.wy.us/mental health, Wyoming Mental Health Professions Licensing Board.